What is going on, trainers? DrumVillain here, bringing you some more Pokemon Go Battle League content, and we hit Legend rank, finally, in this season. We're a little bit late, there's only 2.5 weeks left in the season, but we did manage to make the push. So this is the team we're going to be talking about. It's an Ultra League team specifically, which you guys might have expected if you've been following the channel for a while. You know, I tend to do a little bit better in the Ultra League than the Great and Master League. And honestly, I'm waiting for Great League to feel a little bit more inspiring than it is right now. Now, I've been on a pretty up and down journey recently in the last few weeks in Go Battle League. So the last video I posted was hitting Expert rank, and then I climbed up to around 2800, 2850 ELO rating, experimenting with different teams and such in the various cups. Then I dropped all the way down to 2500 ELO. I think I had like 2 wins out of like 20 battles, just trying to get different teams to work. Got absolutely smashed to pieces, hard counters, just couldn't get a win to save my life, so dropped several hundred points. And then when these 3 cups came back into rotation, so the Great League, Ultra League and Master League, which are all currently in right now, and this event obviously gives us 50 battles per day rather than 25, I climbed 400 points on Thursday and Friday just using this team, and then I've been bouncing up and down around 2900 for a day or so, and then made one slight tweak to this team, swapped a couple of things around, and then made the push up into Legend rank. So in total, to go from 2500 ELO to 3000, it's took me about 4 days. And yes, there's been double battles during that window, so you could call it 8 days. But I hear a lot of trainers talking about when they get later on in the season, around this point, or maybe a week or so ago, they'll be at 2500, 2400 or something, and they'll get a bit disheartened and like, I'm not going to make the push up to Legend rank. There's no time left, there aren't enough battles left. I'm not going to be able to make that grind. And honestly, with the right team and the right play and a bit of a lucky streak, you know, getting the right leads, the right matchups and stuff as well to help you out, you can make the push. You can climb a couple of 100 points a day very easily with the right circumstances. And I say easily, obviously nothing about this is easy. Legend rank is a tough bar to reach, but it is possible. Don't be disheartened. Keep pushing if you feel like you've got a shot at making it towards the end of the season if you want to make it. And if not, you're going to get more battles in, more practice, more experience, and you're going to get better at battling in general. But I'm going to get off my little soapbox and let's talk about the team. So on the lead, I've been bringing Registeel just because in the 2500, 26, 27, 28, most leads I were running into were weak to Registeel. I don't know if it was just the current state of the meta, what people were thinking about using and playing in general. I was running into 1 or 2 bad leads, but the vast majority were positive leads with some neutral leads chucked in as well, things like Giratina and stuff, which Registeel can definitely hang out with, especially if you get that Zap Cannon debuff. In the Say Swap position, we're bringing probably my favourite Pokemon in general for the Ultra League at this point, and if you've been watching my Ultra League videos up to this point, you probably know it is, you're probably expecting it. It's Cresselia. Of course it's Cresselia. This Pokemon is still disgustingly strong in the Ultra League in general, only really gets hard-walled by Registeel and Alolan Sandslash. Everything else, even picks like Melmetal, which I know is quite rare these points in the upper echelons of Ultra League, but Cresselia can go toe-to-toe in that matchup. It's not as heavy-weighted in Melmetal's favour as you'd think. Registeel and Sandslash are the only real big problems for it, and you can avoid them and work around them a bit with the other 2 Pokemon on this team. We are running Moonblast and Grassnot. We're not running Future Sight. You could try it if you wanted instead, but I find in more matchups, Moonblast comes more in handy and Grassnot comes more in handy. Sometimes if you get it locked against a Charizard, you can bait a shield out of them by building up a little bit extra energy and then throwing the Moonblast, and oftentimes they're willing to give up that shield because Charizard's pretty squishy. But yes, Cresselia, absolute beast. Don't be afraid to run it. Even if you've not got like good PvP IVs or anything like that for it, just build one that you've got. It is strong. And then in the back, we're bringing Tapu Fini, which is a new build for me. I built it just this last week and wanted to build a team around it. Fantastically strong Pokemon in general. I got lucky with a traded Tapu Fini. This is a pretty highly rated PvP IV Tapu Fini for a traded one with a best friend at least. Anyway, the extra bulk does help it out a little bit, but it's not super important if you don't have a traded one or anything. Again, just build the best one that you've got. It is worth it. It's a strong Pokemon. The matchups that it wins, it's going to win anyway. The matchups it loses, it's going to lose anyway. It can just shift those middle grounds a little bit. You might get a bit more damage in, a bit less damage in. You might lose a CMP type. They might otherwise win if you've got IVs like mine. Anyway, plus we've got an incredible amount of bulk on Cresselia and Registeel as well. So oftentimes you're very comfortable and safe to use 2 shields on Tapu Fini, because Cresselia and Registeel can just take hits, even from some of their worst matchups. They can just take the hits, apart from like an Earthquake from Swampert or a Blast Burn from Charizard for Registeel specifically. Other than that, they can take hits from pretty much anything and shake them off. If you don't have a Grass Knot Cresselia, you can run Moonblast and Future Sight to give you better coverage against those fire types that might otherwise try and wall your Cresselia. But you're going to find that picks like Swampert and Tapu Finis are going to be a little bit more punishing for you as well, because you don't have the hardest counter to those. Either Tapu Fini does okay against like Swampert and does okay in the mirror match, but the Moonblast is very threatening from Tapu's, the Earthquake is very threatening from Swampert, and you're going to end up having to commit shields in those matchups anyway. So the rough idea behind this team, if you hadn't already picked up on that, is you've got Registeel on the lead, which is weak to fighting, it's weak to fire, depending on which fire type in particular you're running into, can be weak to ground. And Tapu Fini pairs very well with that, because the fairy type is resisting fighting damage, the water type is dealing with fire and ground types. So generally between them, they have almost perfect coverage, apart from one particular problematic Pokemon, well, two actually, but one of them's not so common anymore in the Ultra League. And then Cresselia is a nice middle ground safe swap. Oftentimes it'll bait out what would be the hardest counter to Tapu Fini. Oftentimes when I'm swapping Cresselia, I'm pulling out things like Jellicent and Ampharos, which Cresselia can sometimes get a shield out of, can put some nice work in against, get him in lock-on farm down range, which is very nice to be able to put Pokemon into, to then come out with a Zap Cannon or Focus Blast loaded to throw whatever your bad lead was. And Tapu Fini is a nice sweeper at the excuse me, at the end. Moonblast can one-shot a lot of things. Surf and Water Gun's going to add up as well. Now, you might be looking at this team and thinking, dude, what on earth do you do against a Virizion lead? Because Virizion, Fighting and Grass, which is going to counter your Tapu Fini, it's going to be resisting the moves from Tapu Fini, and it's going to counter Registeel and resist the moves from that, well, the Zap Cannon from that as well, which is very, very tough. Virizian's a strong Pokemon, hard to deal with, and more often than not these days, they are running Leaf Blade and Sacred Sword rather than Stone Edge, which I do personally agree with. I don't think Stone Edge is super necessary unless you're running it as a safe swap. And I think if I was going to run Virizion as a safe swap, I'd be tempted to run Cobalion instead, just for the slightly better defensive typing of Steel alongside. But all that being said, Virizion leads are tough. And at one point, I got to 2970, 2980 with this team. And then in this following set, I had 3 Virizion leads. And I managed to win one of those matches, but I did not do well in that set overall. It's a very punishing set. You can win those games. They're tough. And we might talk a little bit about them in a little bit. Trevenant is also a very, very nasty lead for this team, but Trevenant's a lot rarer in general in the Ultra League. If you pull a Trevenant lead, you stop him with Registeel and you just start Zap Cannoning them. I shield up the first Shadow Ball because they don't tend to bait you, and then you get a couple of Zap Cannons off, get them low, and then you can just Water Gun them down before they get to a Seed Bomb once they do take out your Registeel. At least with a Trevenant lead, there's a very good chance that every Pokemon you have left on your team by the time you get past Trevenant is going to be strong against their backline, because Trevenant is their answer to Tapu Fini, it's their answer to Cresselia, and it's their answer to Registeel. So there's a good chance they can't handle those Pokemon in the back once you get past it. Now, I'm not going to be showing all the battles on this journey from like 2500 ELO to Legend Rank, because that is a lot of battles, and it is slow because it's Ultra League, and Ultra League matches are notoriously the longest battles in Go Battle League, and this is a very bulky team. Registeel and Cresselia are taking and throwing charge moves for days, so a lot of these games do time out, or you get down to the last few seconds of the timer when these games are concluding. So we're not going to show you all those matches. It is just way, way too many. It would be hours and hours long, this video, and you guys don't need that much. I know I've sometimes done some longer videos, not that long. Plus, I had to delete a lot of matchups as I was going because I simply don't have the phone memory space to be recording and hanging on to that many matchups. Like, it is an insane amount of memory that it takes up recording battles in like the high quality ones. When you're doing like a lot of sets and you're adding them up, it does really start to chip away your phone's memory. Oh, also I want to give a quick shout out to this trainer, Kurt Pidd, who actually battled twice in 2 days. About him on Thursday and on Friday running this team, and I got pretty hard countered both times. We had good games, but I was not able to pull out wins. But before I lost the games, he did surrender to give me the wins because he was already Legend Rank and he didn't want to be gatekeeping me out of Legend Rank, and he DM'd me on Twitter, X, we're going to call it website now, about it. Very good sportsman, real nice guy, so shout out to you. Appreciate that. It does help when trainers give that a little bit of an extra nudge towards the grind when you're trying to make that push to Legend rank, especially towards the end of the season when you're feeling the time crunch pressure a little bit. But yeah, I think one of those battles is lined up in this video somewhere, so if it hasn't already played, it'll be coming up shortly, probably. And this is as good a time as any to mention, but hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, if you're enjoying the video, hit the like button, helps me out massively. And also, a quick update on GoFest. Well, I got you guys here. I did go down to London for Pokemon GoFest in person, so I did get Diancie, Mega Diancie, got Mega Rayquaza, Rayquaza, whatever you want to call that floating snack boy. Managed to pull 80 shinies. I played the park day on Saturday morning, then was in the city for the Saturday afternoon, and then had the citywide experience for Sunday as well. Managed to get a bunch of shinies. The one I missed that I really wanted to get was the unknown exclamation mark. I managed to get like 8 shiny unknowns, and none of them were that one, so I'm a bit gutted about that, but overall a really good time. Oh, speak of the devil, here's the matchup with Kurt Pidd, or at least one of the matchups with Kurt Pidd that we had. In terms of which shinies I got, I was very happy with the haul overall, getting things like one of the Galarian Mr. Mimes. I was hoping to get 2, but getting 1 I'm happy with anyway. Getting Icy Castform, because here in Britain, at least in Yorkshire, where I am in Britain, we don't really get much snow weather, so hunting shiny Ice Castform would have been an absolute nightmare, so very happy to tick that off. We pulled 8 unknowns. The A's of specs, I already had one, so I got a spare D, spare M, spare N, got a spare O, because again I already had an O from a previous event, but overall nice to tick some new ones off. Didn't get the exclamation mark, which I'm a little bit gutted about. Pulling the Heracross, both male and female, is nice as well. Just very nice shinies across the board. We did manage to pick up the new shiny Petalil that was released. In fact, we got 3 shiny Petalils that were released. We also got 5 Jupiters, which were released on that day. Like out of the first 4 shinies I got at GoFest, 3 of them were Jupiter, so very, very happy with that, just to tick it off. It is a nice shiny, that nice deep purple. Regardless of what you think about spiders, it's a nice shiny either which way. Just general good event. Yeah, I've got 4 Pumpkaboos as well, which all the Pumpkaboos spawning, to my understanding, were just medium-sized Pumpkaboos. There were no extra small Pumpkaboos, no extra large Pumpkaboos or anything like that. They were all just medium-sized, which I guess was to prevent it being super abusable for people to smash out the XXS and XXL badges or something, I'm not sure, but either way, they're all medium-sized Pumpkaboos. Okay, you know what guys, let's actually talk about some of these matchups though as well, and what we're actually doing in each of these games. So, this matchup, Shadow Charizard lead, not a good lead for us, because they're going to outpace you. They get to Blast Burn fast and you get to Zap Cannon, and a Shadow Charizard, that Blast Burn hits really, really hard. So you're going to have to be shielding up. We're going to choose to stay in with Registeel. We're going to shield the Blast Burn, because Charizards don't tend to bait in this situation, which means we can safely shield up it as a Blast Burn. That's completely fine. We get the attack debuff. Okay, so far so good, kind of. Shield up another Blast Burn. Okay, at least we're not getting baited. Throw a Zap Cannon. Are they going to shield? They probably are, because Zap Cannon ruins Charizard's day. We do. We've got 2 attack debuffs on them now, so we will survive this Blast Burn, so we can get to a Zap Cannon and take them out. But what they're going to do is they're probably going to pivot out, they do, into a Jellicent. Okay, that's fine. We can still hit him with a super effective Zap Cannon. The right play here, I think, is bank Tapu Fini and swap in Cresselia and throw a Grass Knot at Jellicent to take it out. Then we'll end up getting the Charizard back in. We can threaten them with 2 Moonblasts for where they are in their current health pool. But I decide in this game, I'm making a call that they're weak to Cresselia in the back, but we want extra energy and we get greedy for it, and we get completely taken out by all the energy on this Jellicent. This is a big mistake. You saw we had nearly 2 Surfs loaded. We wanted another Surf ready for the Charizard if it came back in, or whatever situation we ended up in, and we just made a complete shambles of that situation. On the positive side, they were weak to Cresselia in the back. There is a Tapu Fini, which 2 Grass Knots are almost going to take out, not quite. It's going to get them pretty low, and I think we're going to try and catch a move on Registeel in general. We're just going to try and catch a move, see if we can displace some of their energy, and then get to 2 Moonblasts against the Charizard to take them out. They do throw a move into Registeel. So far so good. That's kind of good for us. They take us out. That's fine. Now they're going to throw another move. It's going to get us pretty low and might even put us into Dragon Claw range. No, that's not Dragon Claw range. That's fine. But with the wing attacks, maybe, it's going to be close. We need to get to 2 Moonblasts to finish them off. And It might not quite. It's not very effective. You can see it does about half of what they've got left, but they've got to move here. It's probably a Blast Burn, probably going to take us out. But giving up all the energy on Tapu Fini, either way, was just a terrible, terrible idea. We should have thrown a Surf a bit sooner into the Jellicent just to take them out, to make sure that they were gone. And then we might have been able to still shimmy that match around to pull a win out. Okay, Shadow Dragonite lead. It's not a bad lead. It's not a good lead either. Like, yeah, you're resisting the Dragon Breath, but those superpowers are threatening. They'll hit you like a truck, especially because it's a Shadow. They get to superpower faster than you get to Zap Cannon. But we choose to shield up the first one that they throw, just because then they debuff themselves. Oftentimes, a Dragonite will throw a superpower because they get there just before you get to the Focus Blast. They'll throw a superpower at you and dip. This one stayed in a bit longer and played out a little bit longer and swapped out into Tapu Fini. And we decided to catch because we knew we wouldn't quite get to the Zap Cannon before they got to a Surf. So worth a catch, bank some energy on Registeel so we can still Zap Cannon that Dragonite if we get the chance later on in the game. Honestly, Dragonite doesn't have that many places to go against our team because Cresselia is super threatening with the Moonblast, Tapu Fini is resisting everything Dragonite's going to throw at you, and Registeel's resisting the Dragon moves and is very threatening with Zap Cannon. So Dragonite overall isn't bad to see with this team as long as you don't let them play around your energy. Like then the Dragonite swapping out wanted to displace our Registeel's energy, so then it gets more of a cushion without needing that a third shield as such to get more damage off, get more charge moves off. But having that energy banked on Registeel like here, we swap in aggressively, quickly throw the Zap Cannon, take them out before they get to another move to take us out. Bang, Dragonite's out of there, and now we're looking pretty solid to finish this game off. Yes, they got Cresselia. Yes, it's going to be good against our Tapu Fini, but we've got a shield advantage, and we can survive 2 Grass Knots. So we're looking pretty good, to be honest, overall in this situation. We're just going to build up to the Moonblast, I think, and just take them out. Unless the Wards Guns add up and it seems like they're in Surf range. But honestly, Moonblast is probably the safer option. We might shield this up now and let it go. We're going to be fine. They're not going to take us out. It does get us pretty low. As you can see, we're getting a little bit sketchy. But the Moonblast is going to do just fine. And then we've got a bit of health on our Cresselia that we can even use the shield for to guarantee taking them out. Yeah, we just shield up, make it to a Grass Knot or farm them down. Either way, sorted. GG's. Okay, let's go ahead and jump straight into the next matchup. And it's a Swampert lead. Terrible. Terrible for Registeel. And we're going to actually safe swap Cresselia because Cresselia makes a better safe swap in general than Tapu Fini does. You're going to start noticing a trend as well, probably. And that is that there's a lot of leads that Registeel is losing to. And that's one of the main reasons why we made a bit of a tweak in the 2900s, and that did help us make that extra push up into Legend rank for sure. So we swap out into our Cresselia against their Swampert. They meet us with their own Cresselia once they've got a health advantage to mean that they can guarantee switch advantage, which we don't really mind this situation. We'd prefer to be able to get switch advantage, obviously. But in terms of losing switch advantage, this isn't a bad situation because we can get another 2 Moonblasts in. We get this one off and probably one more. Get them pretty low. Maybe just throw the Grass Knot. Guarantee we get it off. No, they're going to throw. Not worth a shield, I guess. They are going to take us out. I would have liked to get that Grass Knot off, so they were definitely in lock-on down range. But I think what we're going to do here is we might end up we're probably just going to fully lock on down, actually. We're just going to keep tapping. Nope. Okay. Throw a Focus Blast. Undercharge it. Is this going to take them out? No. Yeah, that's fine. We just lock on down. We want to come out of this matchup either way. The premise is the same. Lock on down, come out with a Focus Blast to throw at the Swampert, which will do big, big damage. We want to start chipping it down. And then we're going to swap into Tapu Fini, see what the opponent's got in the back. What are they going to bring in? So we get a shield out of them. That's so far so good. And they've got a Sylveon in the back. Okay, Charm Sylveon. Pretty tough for us, but they're down a shield, so they can't force their way through Tapu Fini here. We're going to throw a Moonblast straight away because they're at a shield disadvantage. Big damage. This is great. We can shield this move up, and we can just fast move them down entirely. And now we're going to have pressure on this Swampert. We've got a Surf. Are they going to shield this up? They might not. They do not. Okay, so that's fine. Because look at our Registeel's health. It's still pretty healthy. We're not going to shield this up. Is it a Hydro Cannon? It is. It's not going to take us out. We get to a Surf. They have to shield this, or they're in lock-on down range. They're going to shield? They are. Swap to Registeel. We've still got a shield banked. I believe this is a Hydro Cannon. Yep, Hydro Cannon. I think they threw it a little early there as well. Maybe not, because this Hydro Cannon came through pretty quick, the second one. But either way, we shut this up. That's fine. We'll get to the Focus Blast. We'll take them out. The match time is coming up. Going to be a GG. Okay, able to play around a Swampert lead. Very happy with that. We're going to take the win as the timer runs out. Next matchup. And I believe this one is Giratina. So, Giratina is a good lead for this team. If it's running Dragon Breath, then your Registeel's resisting it, and you're going to have a good matchup there anyway. If it's Shadow Claw, it's a good matchup because you're keeping it away from your Cresselia, and Cresselia often has play against Giratinas that are running, it has often play against the backline, against teams that include Giratina with Shadow Claw, so a lot of people use Giratina as an answer to Cresselia. But they choose to swap out straight away into Cobalion, which we can hard punish with Cresselia. We can come out of this matchup with a decent chunk of health. We're going to be able to threaten a Moonblast on that Giratina if it comes back in. So it's looking pretty good for us. We're going to take this move. I believe it's just another, even if it's another Stone Edge, it's completely fine. It's not going to get us low enough to take us out. And the resisted double kicks are not going to be able to take us out. So throw the Grass Knot, finish them off. We're going to be able to get to a Moonblast if they don't throw a move at us. They actually come with Charizard to farm us down. I guess they're depending on an energy advantage on Charizard being the win condition. But we've got Tapu Fini that resists everything. Well, it doesn't resist the wing attacks, but resists the Dragon Claws and resists the Blast Burns. The opponent realizes they can't win and surrenders their GG. If the opponent leads with Giratina and stays in, just stay in with Registeel, start Zap Cannoning them and take them out. Okay, Shadow Swampert lead. We say swap into Cresselia and pull out Registeel. This is absolutely like one of the worst case scenarios because there is nothing that Cresselia can do to get through this Registeel. And Registeel, our Registeel is going to really struggle with their Shadow Swampert. And not only that, but we're going to really struggle. We're not going to be able to put their Registeel in lock-on farm down range with Cresselia either. So we can't come out of this match in a particularly strong situation either. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait for the switch. We're going to build up extra energy with Cresselia. We're going to build up extra energy, wait for the switch timers to come back up, and we're probably going to swap out into our Registeel. We're going to wait for them to throw one more Zap Cannon, I believe, because it won't quite... It might take us out. But if it doesn't, that's fine. Yeah, it doesn't quite take us out. They want to farm us down. We're going to swap out aggressively into Registeel to pull the Swampert back out because we've got energy on Cresselia to take out this Swampert, and we're going to depend on shields to take out whatever they've got in the back with Tapu Fini. So let's let this go. It's a Hydro Cannon. It is a Hydro Cannon. We get lucky. Earthquake would have ruined our day there. We get another Focus Blast. Is this going to be an Earthquake or a Hydro Cannon? We'll let it go. Hydro Cannon doesn't take us out. Right, Swampert, if you're not willing to go for the big boy move, we're going to get shield advantage here or take you out. They are going to shield up. That's completely fine. They are going to be pressured to throw another move at us here because Registeel is so bulky. They actually probably could have fast moved us down there if they'd have committed, but it would have been close. We got Cresselia, we got a Grass Knot loaded. Do they want to give up another shield or let this thing go? They're going to shield up again, so we're going to swap in aggressively into Tapu Fini, start getting hit on energy and see what they've got in the back. Now they throw the Earthquake and we shield it up. That's fine. There's Charizard in the back, looking fantastic for our Tapu Fini. We can definitely take them out. We can let this move go. It's Shadow, hits hard, that's fine. Their Registeel has to get a Zap Cannon through to take us out, which they're going to struggle to do because they're pretty energy dry anyway, and, you know, we've got a shield left, so we can get a lot of damage off here. They're on about half health. We should be able to take them out here and take the win. Throw the first Surf, get them pretty low. Next move coming through. We try and catch on Cresselia. We're able to pull it off just to spare as a shield, which very, very nice. Not fully necessary, but nice to practice and try and go for anyway. We're able to pull it off. The opponent surrenders there. GG. Now, I did mention that we tweaked this team to make a push up to Legend Rank, and it's very simple. All we did was we swapped Tapu Fini around with Registeel and put Tapu Fini on the lead. You might have noticed, and just a handful of games I've shown you, there's a lot of Swampert leads. There's a lot of Alolan Sandslash leads, and you want those leads to be positive. Like, we're still going to struggle against Trevenant and Virizion. It's a bad lead no matter which one of those you've got, but more of the leads that we were seeing become positive with Tapu Fini. So we decided to swap them round, and it massively improved quite a lot of matchups that we were seeing. Galarian Weezing's another one. Mixed lead for Registeel, like it's not too bad, but it's a great lead for Tapu Fini, because you're resisting everything unless they're running Play Rough as a bit of a spicy charge move. The opponent swaps out into Tapu Fini, which we can hard punish with Registeel, and then hopefully Cresselia's got some play against whatever they've got in the back, because a lot of Galarian Weezings high up in Ultra League are also used as Cresselia counters. So there's a good chance of something else at the weak to Cresselia in the back. I'm thinking it's going to be a fighter or a pseudo fighter, something like that. Although that wouldn't be the best thing to be trying to line up with the Tapu Fini, so maybe not. But we've got a feeling that Registeel's got more play against Tapu, and Cresselia's going to have more play against whatever the other Pokemon in the back is. So we get a Zap Cannon off against Galarian Weezing. That's really nice for us. They throw the Overheat to take us out, which is the right call, because Brutal Swing wouldn't be enough at that point. And there's a Jellicent in the back, so actually we would have been better bringing Cresselia into Tapu Fini and having Registeel in this matchup, but it's still completely fine because we've got such an advantage with Tapu Fini against Galarian Weezing. It doesn't really matter at this point. As long as we can get a Grass Knot through, which we will get at least one through here, we can probably shield up this move. It's probably going to be a Shadow Ball. No, we let it go. It's a Surf. That's a ballsy call. Wouldn't have mattered because Shadow Ball wouldn't have taken us out at that range, but it does make our position that much stronger. We get one Grass Knot through, and now at this point, we can just, doesn't matter if Cresselia goes down, we can just get to a move on Tapu Fini to take them out, and we will have enough health and energy left to finish off the Galarian Weezing. This is worth the shield, because if it's Shadow Ball, it's pretty hard. It is just a Surf Bait, doesn't matter. They try and catch on Galarian Weezing, they're not able to do that successfully. We get extra energy, take them out with a Surf, then we'll still get to a Moonblast very comfortably and wipe out the Jellicent and take that win. Now, if we'd have led Registeel into that lead, and then we might have ended up with Tapu Fini against Jellicent, that wouldn't have been good. It just would have been a messier matchup overall. So, next matchup, Tapu Fini, Saulolan Sandslash. Again, another lead that we've flipped simply by swapping those two Pokemon on the team around. And I think that's the main difference, is that from 2500 up to like 2850, 2900, most leads I was seeing was struggling with Registeel. Like, Registeel was winning a lot of leads that you're able to take advantage of. And then once I got to within 150, 100 points of Legend rank, there's a lot more leads that counter Registeel. And I was struggling with that transition. I was like, the team worked super well up to this point. Why am I struggling so much now? And it's because there was an influx of leads like Sandslash, like Galarian Weezing, that have got a bit more versatility. They can throw Overheat and dip out, and it can be awkward matchups to handle. A few more Charizards as well, and the occasional Virizion, of course, as well, which is a ball ache to deal with for sure. But they swap in Jellicent. We're going for an aggressive farm down. We might have messed this up. Not quite. Can we lock on down? They're going to swap out aggressively. Finishes off. Doesn't matter. We've got a ton of energy on our Tapu Fini now to threaten this Sandslash with. They're going to shield up. They are. That's completely fine. We're pretty close to another Surf. This is worth matching a shield, though. This is worth matching the shields, because the Drill Run would get us very low or take us out. It is a Shadow Sandslash, after all, that is going to hit pretty hard, and we do want to keep Cresselia away from this thing. And there's a good chance Cresselia is going to have good play against whatever's in the back, because Alolan Sandslash is one of the better answers to Cresselia in the Ultra League in general. So we get them very, very, very low, and we're going to choose to preserve a shield and try and farm them down entirely and hope that this energy is going to help us sweep at the end of this game. It's a big call. Is it going to pay off for us? There's a Tapu Fini in the back. We throw Moonblast panicking. We just throw a move straight off the bat. It's Moonblast blindly, which is not good for us, but also not the worst decision, because two Grass Knots. No, yeah, we want to land two Grass Knots because we want to take them out. Yeah, that's a bit awkward, because with all the Psycho Cuts adding up and two Grass Knots, that would take them out. You see how much damage that did there. So by this point, they'd have been knocked out by the Psycho Cuts. So we've got to let this move go. If it's Moonblast, it takes us out. If it's Surf, we just survive. They try and catch on Jellicent. They're not able to do it. We get to one more Grass Knot, take them out with a sliver of HP, and throwing that Moonblast nearly cost us that game. But we managed to pull it back and take the win. At this point, it is now Sunday evening. Froakie Community Day has just happened, and people are starting to use Greninja, which both Registeel and Tapu Fini are good to line up against. The worst matchup on your team for it is Cresselia, but you saw that we did quite a bit of Water Gun chip damage, which means now that Greninja is in Grass Knot or Moonblast range, which is much better, because normally Cresselia has to land two charge moves against Greninja, and they can spam Night Slashers now with that new move Water Shuriken that it's got access to, which is super. It's just a pain in the ass to deal with. So we're feeling pretty good about this. They choose to dip out of that matchup into Cresselia, which we can super hard punish with Registeel here. We're going to be able to leave this matchup with excess energy. So they're going to swap out aggressively into Trevenant. Now, like I said, there aren't many Trevenants, but they are out there and they are awkward to deal with for our team. So we're just going to stay in with Registeel. Might sound crazy, but what else can we do, right? We've got Cresselia and Tapu Fini. We're staying in here. Shield up the first move. It's a Shadow Ball. Fantastic. We've already debuffed them once. Let's debuff them again. We're hoping this isn't Shadow Ball, but it probably is. It is a Shadow Ball. Yep, gets us pretty low. We're kind of approaching Shadow Claw farm down range, but doesn't matter. Get the second Zap Cannon off. Swap into Tapu Fini. We've got so much energy loaded that we're built up against that Greninja, so we can throw a Surf, take them out. Job's done. Yes, they could have shielded up. Yes, we'd have had more Surfs to throw. We could have started to Water Gun them down because their attack was debuffed, but it survived a Seed Bomb very comfortably. So the Trevenant was done at that point. That's completely fine for us. They got Cresselia in the back. They try and double whammy us, throwing a move and then throwing one on Greninja. That's fine. It's Hydro Cannon. It's going to get us low. It's not going to take us out. They get to throw two moves back to back. Little bit of a pain in the ass, but we shield up. It's fine. It's worth preserving this much energy on Tapu Fini. We need a shield out of this Greninja, right? We're going to get it? We are. Greninja's pretty squishy. Even though it's resisted surfs, it is going to really... they're going to be pressured to shield because they don't want to get fast moved down. They haven't seen our Cresselia yet. We get the shield. That's fantastic. You're going to see a flurry of Night Slashers come through, which hopefully they don't boost. Of course they boost. God damn it. We're within 25 points here, I think, of Legend rank at this point. So, yep, they boost. We can take the second Night Slash. Hits us like an absolute truck. We get a little bit extra energy before we throw against the Cresselia that swaps in. We take them out. Not quite, actually. We get a farm down. That's absolutely perfect for us. Absolutely beautiful. Means we get to this grass not very comfortably. Time is coming up. We will take them out. Take the win. GG's. Against a Trevenant on the team and new Greninja, which is incredibly spammy, incredibly strong. Very happy with that result in that game in general. Did someone order another lead that's better for Tapu Fini than Registeel? Shadow Charizard comes in, they swap into Jellicent, we've got the Registeel to punish it with those Zap Cannons, once again looking absolutely beautiful in this game so far. If I swap Registeel into Jellicent and they build up to Shadow Ball, I like to shield the first one because they don't tend to bait, and shielding up that first Shadow Ball and then getting the attack drop all but guarantees you switch advantage, which is worth giving up a shield for. Charizard against Tapu Fini is so much in your favour that it is worth going down a shield to guarantee that situation. We undercharged that move a little bit too much. We should have gone for a great, not a nice, but we were greedy to come out of this matchup with a Zap Cannon to threaten the Charizard with. So watch this now. This is another Shadow Ball, right? Now I have to give up two shields. Giving up one shield for that matchup is worth it. Two, sketchy. But you know what? We've got a Zap Cannon loaded. What are they going to come in with? It's the Charizard, okay? Take the Zap Cannon, shield it up, whichever. They give us the shield, that's fine. They're going to have to throw energy to take us out before we get this Zap Cannon off. If it's a Dragon Claw, this might not actually take us out and we'll get the second one off. It is the Blast Burn, that's fine. And what's in the back? It's Virizion. There's the nasty pasty. But we've got Cresselia locked against it. Even with a shield advantage, Virizion cannot flip this matchup. The Moonblast's just going to hit too hard. As long as we're not letting them get free double kicks through by throwing our charge moves at the wrong time, that's completely fine. They're just going to keep spamming Leaf Blades at us. We don't really mind. Tapu Fini's going to have to handle the Charizard. We hopefully want to get the shield out of this Virizion, to be honest. That's ideal. The Charizard with a shield is a little bit more threatening. They do give us a shield, and that all but guarantees that we're going to be looking good in this match. They try and catch on Charizard. They don't pull it off. We get to the Surf. Job is a good, and this might take out or get the Charizard excruciatingly low. Takes it out. That's fine. Good opponent's going to surrender. Good game. All right. Last matchup here to make the push up. A fellow expert rank trainer that's pretty close. Registeel lead. This is not good for us. They've got Zap Cannon that's going to ruin our day, but we can't swap in Cresselia because that's an even worse matchup for us. We would just like to get our Registeel, lined up against opposing Registeel, but it is what it is. In this situation, we're going to stay in. We're going to commit shields. In fact, we're probably going to give up both shields in this matchup just to make sure this Registeel is dealt with. And then hopefully our Cresselia is going to have a ton of play against whatever's in the back. It just is what it is. We've got to just commit in. We're going to drop the double shield. Let's do it. It's completely fine. Let's see what they've got in the back. We're going to throw the surf just before they get to another zap cannon. We're not going to try and catch. We're not going to try anything fancy. We'll let them take us out. You know what we're going to do? We're going to come in probably with Cresselia, and we're just going to farm them down. We're going to come out of this matchup with energy. Well, in fact, no, we're not. We're not going to farm them down. They didn't get to the move fast enough. We'll just throw a grass knot, take them out. They shield. That Registeel's got like no health. So, all of a sudden, we're in a zero shield situation. We've got Cresselia. We're not stressed. They swap out aggressively into Armored Mewtwo. And we could maybe have stayed in with Cresselia in the matchup. Like, Cresselia is a very good answer to Armored Mewtwo, because Armored Mewtwo tends to run Dynamic Punch, Side Strike. I think it can learn Earthquake as well. Generally, it's not very threatening to Cresselia at all because of our bulk, resisting the confusions and the majority of the charge moves. Registeel is going to get hit hard by the Dynamic Punch, as you can see, but we're betting that they're also weak to Cresselia with their third Pokemon as well, of course, leading a Steel type like Registeel, and there's Tapu Fini. So we're looking very, very good. They swap out aggressively now, so there's no risk of a catch either in this situation. So we can get to 2 Grass Knots, do the work, take them out. This is a bit of a squishier Tapu Fini because we get him into the yellow a little bit quicker as well. Moonblast is not going to avail them. They do not get the attack debuff, which might have saved them in this situation. We have to take them out, and we should be able to take the rest of their team out. The Registeel's super low, Armored Mewtwo's there. Nearly farms us down, but we get to another Grass Knot. We're going to take out the Mewtwo, and then the Registeel's just like 1 or 2 Psycho Cuts away as well. In fact, we should have just thrown a charge move there. That was a little bit risky business. And that is going to give us our 5th win in a 5 out of 5 set to really screech over the finish line, fly up to 30-43, I think is the final ELO. So the team is very, very solid. It's very, very powerful. Yes, it's 3 legendaries, but also there's only Registeel that needs a bit of... It doesn't even need XL candy. You have a Hundo at level 40 if you want. But it's best if you've got an XL one. I don't have one that's below Raid IVs that's worth powering up. But if you've got one yourself, you can get even more bulk and use out of Registeel. These are all strong Pokemon. They don't need PvP IVs. And they're a little bit cheaper than the XLs to build, like level 50 Pokemon like Talonflame and things like that. Very strong team. Let me know what you think of it down below. And let me know how you guys are getting on. Have you hit your goals in Go Battle League yet this season? Or are you still pushing for that final finish line for yourself before the season ends in a couple of weeks? If you are, good luck. Maybe this team can help you in the last few days of Ultra League. Thank you so much for watching this far. You're an absolute legend, and I will catch you guys next time.